Louise Phelan, when you're hiring people, how important is the issue of nationality?
Very. So I suppose you can, and building on what Anne said, a couple of things. One is, I support all of EMEA out of Ireland. We have 1,500 people in Blanchardstown today. 50% of those are non-Irish. So it's critical to the success of EMEA for us is that we have the language spread that we need. We support 12 different languages. Very interested in some of the data around the Nordic countries and stuff like that where we're having challenges. So the language is one thing. The second thing I would say is depending on the skill and the competency that you're looking for, that will also determine the language. So in some cases, if you're looking for project management, it doesn't necessarily have to be in the language, but what it does mean is that you get the right person with the right competencies and the right skills. I would also say, building out on what we're doing in Dundalk this year, we've 200 people there. We are hiring another 400 people this year, tell all your friends, so that we can obviously fill those roles. And at the end of the day, 50% of those roles are going to be non-nationals as well. And I think the challenge we have today is, we talk about all the time around you have to hire Irish, you have to hire Irish. You can only hire Irish where they have the language. I'm not seeing very many Irish people walking the streets that can speak Hebrew, so I have to bring those Hebrews in from country and hire them here. But it's the 1 in 5 syndrome that people are forgetting about because they keep saying, I hire an Irish. I think the important piece is that the knock-on effect of bringing in, for example, like I have done, 30 Hebrews, on the back of those 30 Hebrews, all the people I've hired is Irish people to support, whether it's training, whether it's HR, whether it's all of the services and facilities behind them. So I think language is critical, but as I think also innovation, problem solving, critical thinking are as important. And I think there's not just language as the challenge, I think we've challenges across a number of areas.
How well do you think are we doing in this country, though, in actually having a strategy in relation to attracting people in, rather than just saying, well, the borders are open within the EU, people will just come here if they want to?
I think, Matt, not half as well as we could do, is my view. I think there's been a lot of discussion earlier on about joining the dots and all that sort of stuff, and I think what we don't have, unfortunately, is enough real joined-up thinking and coordination. I was very interested in Sally's final slide where she had branding. If you look back in Ireland in the 80s, we did have a sort of a blueprint, a strategy. What did we want to become famous for at that time? How do we want to position ourselves in the EU at that time? And there was a very clear focus on the IT sector, on pharmaceuticals, on biomedical devices. And we set off on a strategy at that time which felt an awful lot more joined up and coordinated, where the universities who were always there to listen to the needs of business, created the third level courses, created the disciplines to produce the right sort of students. The government had the right sort of focus and policy in terms of the IDA focus, foreign directive investment, etc. And the business has said, if we get the policy right and we get the graduates, we'll create the jobs. And look where we are now in 2013, and the fact that the technology sector, the pharmaceutical sector, the biomedical devices, etc., has been such a huge success story for us. And it just feels like at the moment, we have been in crisis management nationally for a number of years, but it feels now is the time that we need to really pull things together and get much more coordinated at a national level.
But from what you're saying, that strikes me is that we simply don't have the supply of people in this country. So rather than promoting, for the immediate term, promoting things here in Ireland, we need to be sucking people in from around the world.
Yeah, I mean, there's no, if you take our model as a professional services company, we are paid for, our clients pay for, hopefully, our skills and capabilities. So we bring in talent from Accenture. We have just under 1,400 people in Accenture in Ireland, but we bring in talent from the Accenture Global Network, the 260,000 people who work in Accenture, because they come in with a particular skill and capability that our clients need to do the job. So that model, you know, we should bring in. The most disturbing thing about the report, the findings that Ryan presented earlier, was this whole idea that companies would decide to go elsewhere if they can't get the skills. So why wouldn't we bring in people from wherever those skills are to help build the industry here, to help ensure that we get the right investment? Because if it goes somewhere else, it won't be coming back. And that's the dilemma we face.
The fear that politicians have about, as I see it, opening up our borders. How difficult is it to persuade people of the economic benefits of that?
Well, I think, Sally's talk really highlighted this really well. There are high-value economic immigrants and there are low-value economic immigrants. The ones that are of more threat to us are the ones that don't bring in as much value. Another piece that Sally's charts really showed is that some countries are doing this extraordinarily well. If you look at Canada, if you look at Australia, these are countries that know how to have accessible policies that allow them to flourish and grow. We need to model ourselves after some of those policies, national policies, and become more attractive. It is horrifying that we're that next year in that chart you showed from 2011 to 2015 in terms of the skills level, I guess that was the one where we were skill quality. Ireland actually was 16, and so next year we fall off that chart. Next year if that chart was shown again, we wouldn't be on it. We got to do more. We have to do radical change to open up our borders and allow that talent into the country.